Hello again. I'm back. I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to see if this works. Now, something that Glenn said, Kirstyn, that I think you need to know, if your phone is not vertical, it won't work. So if you've been holding your phone horizontally, it will never work. Now that's, yeah, you can't have it sideways. It's got to be upright. It's the only way it works. If the phone's sideways, it won't connect it. It won't work. I don't know. That's been our experience. I'm waiting for my internet to get connected, which it should be here soon, and then I'm going to get you on. All right, here we go. So what I'm going to attempt to do is get you on a messenger. Yeah, you should just fly out here. That's a good idea. I'm attempting to get...
For 5 minutes, folks, or whatever, I'm going to start the generator. I'm going to restart everything.
You know...
should happen one more time. That's what I'm going to do. 7 o'clock.
You know, it's like the messenger just keeps popping, but it won't open, you know? It's weird. No, it's all a meltdown, man. I don't know. Fuck. It's just too goofy. You know, I don't know. I keep clicking on new message and it won't even give me a window to say who do I want to message. It's like my shit's now going into meltdown. What the hell happened? I just don't know. I'm going to try it one more time here. Restart the page one more time. This is all just so goofy. All right, here we go. Okay. Yeah, here we go. Let's get you on now. Let's get you on the phone. Oh, now you're appearing up in the screen.
Oh my gosh.
All right, let's get this started. Oh God, man. This has just been like Goonie. Fuck me.
Whoa, yeah, that was trippy. I think we just traversed through like 10 million dimensions right there.
Indeed. I mean, this is just crazy. So, again, I'm going to say, welcome to the ORIN Oracles Live, just because, so people know what this show is. It's been stopped and started so many times that I do have her on my, I have her on Messenger, I have her on board, so we are in the conversation finally.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I'm not going to save all those other ones. I mean, I just like let those go.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm audible. You can hear me okay?
I can hear you. Everybody hear her okay? I can hear her fine. Anybody say anything? Glenn, Cornelius, can you hear her audio okay? Somebody? Okay, nobody. I can hear you. Fuck it. Yes, okay. Somebody said yes. Okay. Yep, Glenn said yes. Okay.
Oh, beautiful. All right.
Oh, God. This is hilarious. So, how are you doing today?
Well, let me just start by honoring you, first of all. This show is amazing. And, you know, despite our little technological glitches and all of that, I think, you know, it's just keeping it real. Here we are. We're just real people, and this happens. I just, yeah, I love you. I love everything that you're doing. And I just, I'm such a fan.
Well, I'm a fan of yours too. Kirstyn's spoken for. And so am I. But we adore each other.
And let me share, I want to share this with you. The irony of ironies, right, is that when we were having trouble before, I was like, well, maybe, I'll try a different internet connection. So I walked over to the Golden Mean, which is exactly where we met in October. So here I am sitting upstairs at pretty much the same table we were at.
Oh, isn't that great?
Having our first conversation. So it's come full circle. Here we are.
Isn't that great? Yeah. I remember that little cafe, that little vegan place. Yeah. It was lovely.
Yep. So it's perfect. Everything works out.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us about, now you've got to be about 6-7 months into your urine therapy now, or what? Something like that. How did this all start for you?
Yeah, so it started with you.
Hey, ain't that a pisser?
Yeah. So basically, I don't know, how these things happen. YouTube is watching what I watch, and then they recommend you, of course. And so I started watching your videos, and I just remember thinking, wow, this is, unbelievable, first of all, and totally believable because it made complete sense to me. But, the first time you hear about it, you're like, what? What is this? But it was your energy and your passion and your just your openness about sharing. I just was like, I don't know what this all is about, but I know that I knew that you were very connected to something, and I was like, I need to explore that because that's the kind of connection I want more of in my life. So then I started doing some other research, and it only took me a couple days. I was like, I saw some other YouTube videos out there, people talking about it. I ordered books. I didn't even start reading any books yet. And I was like, okay, this totally makes sense to me. I have to try this. And, that first glass, I remember it was the evening before the solar eclipse we had in August. And I was like, wow, this is kind of timely. And it seems like the right time to start this. And I just, had my first glass, and the first sip was like, oh my God, what am I doing? And after that first sip went down, it was almost like the Wizard of Oz curtain just comes like crashing down. It's like another illusion for me that was like, boom, and I was like, whoa, now that I just drank that, it's like, awesome. It was really, really empowering. So that was my first sip, and I haven't stopped sipping.
Isn't that great? Now tell them how, I want you to tell them how we met, how we actually hooked up, because I love this.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah, well, you had gone to the conference, right?
No, symposium. Yeah.
The symposium. And then you were just going on this epic adventure, right? We do wanders. And so, on your videos that you were posting and stuff, you're like, hey, if I'm in your area, just, shoot me a text or message me. I'll come and visit. And, at that point, I was like, wow, I should just do this. Like, why not write a message? This is amazing. So I think I reached out on Facebook. Maybe you were like, oh, I'm going to be in Southern California. And so I just, shot you a message. And I said, yeah, here I am in Los Angeles. If you're nearby, let me know. And I really didn't think anything would come of it because, people in LA, they say things all the time. I'm from Connecticut originally, where most people say, they're going to show up, they show up. But here I've gotten used to the culture of, people say, hey, let's hang out, let's get together, and then it never happens or whatever. So I was like, I'll shoot him this message, but I really didn't know or believe that anything would come of it. But you were just spot on, totally real. Like, sure, I'm coming there in a couple weeks. I'll message you then. And sure enough, you did. And you just messaged me. I'm here. And I was like, great. I'm sitting at this cafe where I'm sitting at right now. And you just came in. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're a real person right here in front of me. And it was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I just so adore you. Yeah, I do. You know, from the minute you gave me shout outs and stuff, I was just like, oh God, who is this person? I really want to know. And so, yeah, I really appreciate our friendship so much.
Yeah, me too. Because really, there was a period of time that was, you know, before I met you, you know, my body was going through some rough stuff. I mean, obviously, I think anyone that comes to urine therapy has, you know, hopefully we're getting to the point now in the world where we don't have to necessarily experience pain to have a deep awakening. But I think most of us have a story of physical, emotional, mental, soul, spiritual pain in their life that has happened that has led them on this path to healing, right? This is a really, I don't know, just powerful way to heal. So, you know, I was going through some stuff with my body and just, you know, your videos were really instrumental in, like, I would just come home from my day and just be like, let me watch this video because I know I'm going to be uplifted. And I know I'm going to stay the course and, like, just keep on keeping on, you know? So it was awesome when you just popped up live and in person, because you're this person on video that I would watch, you know, maybe every night, and then boom, there you are, like, we're just, I don't know, having a cup of tea or whatever. It was
Funny
cool.
how it works, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
And let's talk about some of your work. Now you kind of skipped classes today, right? I mean, you're playing a little bit of hooky to do this show, which is why I didn't want to mess around and have to reschedule or do any of that shit, because I know you have a really tight schedule, and I appreciate you taking time for us today. So,
thank you so much.
So tell us about those classes. What are you teaching over there? It's at some college or something, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, so I actually teach for Kaplan. If you guys are familiar with the test makers, they're famous for that. So your SAT, your GMAT, your GRE, all those kind of tests. I actually teach a course for international students, and it's the test that they have to take if they want to study at university here is called the Test of English as a Foreign Language, and it's for short the TOEFL. And so that's what I do. I moved to China when I graduated university, so I was about 21, 22 when I lived in China for a year, and you know, I've always loved, you know, I learn from them so much. You know, I just sit there and say, you know, just tell me about your country, what's going on. And I love talking about culture. I love talking about, you know, language, as do you know, and how words are, at heart, I'm a dancer. You know, I express the best through my body, and that's like kind of the truest form of expression for me. But words are also beautiful, but also in the cultural context, you get to really realize how limiting words are, right? And how they really kind of almost police you in a way, or limit your thoughts. And so once you get in that environment where you have people from all over the world and you get to have these conversations where you're saying, like, oh, well, in my country we say this, or we don't have that expression. Well, why don't you? Or why do you celebrate this holiday? And where does that come from? And all of these things come up for question, you know, and you get to really question what your belief system is and what you've grown up with, you know, and get to kind of pop into a different reality, or multiple realities at once, you know. So that's what I love about working with international students. The irony that I teach a standardized test is, like, kind of crazy to me because I hate standardized testing. But it's kind of like a beautiful pivotal point for these young people, because they're kind of wondering what they want to do with their life. And some of them have been pushed on this path, and I have to, I say, stop, think about what you're doing. Maybe this path isn't for you. And that's okay, So I get to kind of see them at this very, crossroads of their life where they're kind of in between, kind of developing where they want to go in the world. So it's cool. I love working with them. So then I'm playing hooky from today.
Right.
It's good.
And then in the afternoon you go teach dance classes. Right?
That's right. Yeah. I used to teach dance out here in LA, but now I'm teaching it's a bar class, pretty much. It's a strength conditioning class. So you're using your own body as resistance. And so we do, some weight work, some glute work, thigh work, and core work. It's a total body workout. And that's what I do. Yeah.
And then when you're not, you're working on a book, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Now let's talk about your book. I know all this stuff, but I know our listening audience would love to hear some of your some of this stuff. So.
Okay.
Tell us, tell us what this book is about and what prompted you to write it in the first place.
All right. So I'm basically writing a memoir. I've gotten pretty much second draft there. Second draft is there, but I was really kind of waiting for a time where I felt very. I knew it was missing something, and what it was missing was that lightness, that healing quality. Because when I wrote it, at the time that I wrote it, I was still in a lot of pain. My body was still in a lot of pain. So, anyways, to back up, give you some context about the book. Basically, my story that I'm writing about it starts when my mom died, and I was 26 when she died of pancreatic cancer. And it was about a year from her prognosis to her death. And that was in January 2005. And just after that, because it was, I was her only daughter. My parents divorced when I was young, so my dad remarried and had another daughter, and I have a stepmom. But with me and my mom, it was a very, very close relationship. And when she passed, it was really hard, and I really kind of shut down. I went numb, and it just wasn't looking good. And I had about a couple months after she died, I had this pressure. It was like a pressure on my shoulders, pressure on my neck, and I never experienced this before. But the pressure was, go see a psychic. And I never, ever wanted to ever go see a psychic in my life. Like, it just didn't even cross my mind. But I had this, real pressure to go see. So finally, I kind of went in. I saw this psychic. She gave me a tarot card reading. And she basically said, I'm reading your mother's cards. And she had, she proceeded to tell me a lot of true things about my mother's life, which led me to believe, on one hand, I was kind of questioning her. I was very suspect, and on the other hand, I was well, everything she's saying is very spot on. It was very correct. So she's like, there's something else going on here. Why don't you come back tomorrow? So I went home. I thought about it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna see if I don't know, this leads to something, because I was in such a deep depression. I really didn't know what to do, and she was giving me an inkling of hope. And this was a time where I was trying to decide. I was still in Connecticut, and I was trying to decide whether I wanted to move out to LA or not, because I had been accepted to a PhD program at UCLA, but I was still very weak, and I didn't have a lot of energy going on, and I just didn't know if I could make it out there. I didn't know if I could move. So I went back, and she proceeded to tell me, yes, your mother really wants you to leave and go and start a new life. You need to start a new life somewhere else. And then it was the beginning of a great lie that I started to believe, which was you know, I don't know. I guess this is very typical, but at that time I was very naive. I didn't know. And she was like, you know, your family's cursed. You're on your mom's line, and she was trying to, you know, stop this curse and blah, blah, but now it's falling to you. So there are certain things that you have to do to clear this, you know, curse and blah, blah, blah. So that really started this very, kind of weird, abusive, codependent relationship with this woman who was clearly taking advantage of me. I was very vulnerable. But if it were just about, you know, money, if she just wanted the money, that would be one thing. That would be one violation. But really, she took it to, she really opened up my energy field to darkness. And about 3 years after my encountering her, and this is after, like, you know, oh, let's work with this crystal and light this candle and do this stupid blah, 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 and whatever. And I would go through the motions under the guise of it's clearing the path for me, it's breaking this curse, it's allowing my mother to be at peace. So about 3 years after I met her, I came down with a very serious physical ailment, and that was I first of all, I couldn't taste anything, like could not taste anything, and I would get these insatiable cravings. I just wanted to eat everything, and I couldn't feel satisfied ever. So it's like I would crave pineapple, I'd eat, like, you know, a lot of pineapple and then never feel full. So it was the worst kind of torment, and all I could, you know, in my mind, I was like, wow, this is what, you know, anyone with an addiction, if it's like drug addiction or alcohol or whatever, it's that kind of, I can't feed it. I can't get enough inside of me to make it stop. And that's where I was at. And I was really going nuts because, you know, I was like, well, maybe I'll talk to a psychologist, but I went to a meeting. I was like, no, she can't help me. Like, I've already reviewed all this stuff, you know? And I went to various different people. I went to see an acupuncturist. That didn't help. You know, even, and I'll add this into the mix. My belly was also growing. So I was looking more and more like a pregnant person. And my symptoms were also all the kind of horrible symptoms a pregnant woman would get. Itchy scalp and itchy feet, low back soreness. People were asking me, I was teaching my strength conditioning class, and people would come up to me and they would say, oh, congratulations on your pregnancy. And I would have to say,
yikes.
No, I'm not pregnant. Yeah. So you can imagine the shame and the humiliation that I was experiencing. So, you know, and I'm constantly like looking like, what can I do? What can I do? So I get involved. I was on the, and you've been here with me walking on the 3rd Street Promenade. So it was there. I was sitting there, of course, eating, because I was at like nonstop eating at this point. And I saw another psychic just standing there, and I did not, like everything was like, no, don't do it. But I was like, I don't know who else can help me. Like, this is a weird matter. And, you know, my gynecologist, you know, everybody else is not going to be able to handle this. Like, I don't know what else to do. So I went up to her. She knew right away. She's like, you're really scared, right? I was like, yes. She's like, okay, you don't have any taste. She's like, let me cook you this meal and at least bring your taste back. She did. It worked. Like 2 days later, my taste came back. I can't tell you what's in this meal. I don't know, rice, chicken. She threw some bourbon or something in there. I don't know what it was. But then she basically, you know, looked into the work, and she told me the exact same story the first psychic did, which was that there was a curse on my mother's line, and it going generations back, there was a woman who was very, very jealous of someone in my family who had given birth. And she had a successful birth, and the other woman did not. And so the one who did not have a successful birth, her baby died, she put a curse on this line of women. And I would, you know, it was the exact same story that the previous psychic had told. So I was like, well, that's really weird. And so she's like, well, let's, break this. This is coming through in the form of pregnancy right now. And that's why you're getting all these pregnancy symptoms. She's like, you're not really pregnant. It's like an entity. It's like an energy inside of you. Well, of course, this is pretty, freaky.
That's pretty far out stuff there.
It's pretty far out stuff. And, quite frankly, great for a fictional book, except my book is not fiction.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's what I'm writing about. And, the 9 months that I endured that particular horror show was pretty bad. And then we managed to clear it, but then it would come back. So every 3 months it would kind of like cycle back a little bit, until finally I recognized, and I got involved in some spinal work. It's called network spinal analysis, but basically it taps into your nervous system, and it helps you to connect to your own self-organizing, right? The body is a self-organizing thing. So when you can tap into your nervous system in that way, and they do it through different, what they call gateways of the spine. So you can think chiropractic, but it's not traditional chiropractic. We're going to manipulate vertebrae. It's really about touching in and contacting certain gateways. So I did this for about eight sessions, and after that eighth one, I kind of sat up from the table, and I realized that it had all been a lie, that this first psychic had, produced this lie so that I would, be constantly, quote unquote, needing her to fix something, right? So
right, like a chiropractor.
So, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean the
never-ending
care,
sessions.
right? The network care actually connected me with my own internal wisdom. And my own internal wisdom that had been blocked all this time said, Kirstyn, the first psychic was a liar. She lied to you. So once I realized that was when I really performed my own ceremony to clear everything. And, the negative energy left, the negative entity, whatever you want to call it, it left. And then became just slowly getting my body back, because my body had gone through a lot, and there were a lot of symptoms, a lot of pain. So it was just, then slowly healing my body. And so, yeah.
Okay, so
that was my memoir.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for sharing all that. I know that's really some really crazy whirlwind shit to process. So I want to ask you, since you started your urine therapy back in August on the eclipse, I think is what you said.
Yeah, the solar eclipse.
Yeah. What kind of body changes or emotional changes or psychic or, what kind of changes have you experienced by doing this?
The first thing I noticed was empowerment. So, I've always known that the body heals itself. My grandfather was a chiropractor, so I had that beautiful gift of that knowledge, which some people growing up don't have. So I always had that in the background of, your body heals itself. You don't need to take 100 different medications. Your body is a self-regulating and self-healing machine. So I already had that, but I think when I started drinking urine, that's when I really got that, almost somatically, oh my gosh, I am my own medicine, right? And how powerful that is. That was the greatest gift that I noticed right from the beginning. It wasn't so much of a big physical shift, because I had already been going through different kind of detoxes, and I mean, a lot had been coming out of my body, so I was very, very used to that. And, you know, if I had gotten, a little headache or something like that, it would not be a big deal for me because I had been through that so many times before. So that's the first thing I noticed when I started drinking tea, is the empowerment.
And
yeah.
what is your protocol? Are you just a drinker, a looper? Do you do body rubs? I mean, how many processes do you do, if any?
I do a cup in the morning, and then usually a body rub at night. Usually after a bath. I love baths. So after I get out of the bath, that's when I'll usually do a rub with aged.
How long have you been aging? Did you have any that have been hanging around for a while, or
yeah.
most of it contemporary?
Yeah. I mean, not as old as you, but I've got.
I'm a pea factory.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. It's kind of hard in my space because I don't have like a huge amount of space for storage. So I have to kind of like be a little bit more. Cycle through a little faster. So I have like aged maybe 3 or 4 months, and I'll use that. Yeah.
And do you notice it in its coloration and its ormus? And I mean, do you notice the stem cell development? I mean, can you see these things happening in it?
Oh yeah, I can see stuff happening, and the kind of the ormus, is really that kind of gritty stuff, right? So I love,
at the bottom.
Yeah, at the bottom. Yeah, I love working with it. You know, I know some of your guests on the show have all sorts of beautiful protocols that they do with that to really get that down, and I haven't been able to experiment that far with it yet.
Yeah.
But I look forward to doing it, yeah.
Well, I even had somebody ask me this morning, about it on another, on a messenger, and the thing is that this is like the alchemy. This is your philosopher's stone, so to speak, is in that product right there. Now, I posted, Ron O'Mara posted a thing on the groups that I reposted into my groups and on my pages that breaks down all of the elements that are in your pea daily. Everything from A to Z. And it's a pretty impressive list of elements, that once you understand what it is you're pissing away, so to speak, and wasting, it, you might want to rethink that. And so with the Oramus alone, somebody was asking me where to send it, how you can do this. Well, I know with Rosalind, she has sent her Oramus samples to a lab in Australia, and she does have gold, among many other metals in the periodic table, plus a lot of other elements that just show up. They show up in the lab result in the test, and this is not she's not like rare. This is what we all really have in us, are these amazing elements. And so to save it and collect it is really it's a fascinating observation of natural science, observable science. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just storing it. I want to age as much and as long as possible, so when I'm ready to start manufacturing it at different rates, different things, I'm going to do a lot of different things with it. But right now I wanted to get as aged as possible. I wanted to get as much of it as aged as possible. Now, like Glenn, he's created this. It's almost like honey. And he puts his urine in a pot and really slow. I've heard people using like crock pots and whatnot in the same dimension, that you just reduce it down to where the water content's out and you're down to a pure essential. And it's like a honey that is just a brilliant and marvelous elixir. So the properties that you can do with it are really fascinating. There's so many things you can do with urine that people just don't get it. They think, oh, what a waste. Yeah, you pissing it away, that's a waste. You know, you don't.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so beautiful, is what it is. It's really, really magical, and we're waking up to our own magic. It's been kind of hidden there, from us, and the ancients knew it, right? And over these years, we have been essentially lied to, manipulated, all of that to take away our power. And what an amazing thing that it's we're getting our power back, right? And really, really recognizing how powerful we are.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, it is like kryptonite. I'll give you a perfect example. Okay, now I'm on day 3 since I stopped smoking again, and I intend to make it good. So 3 days in, and I decided this morning no coffee, just keep it real simple and real raw. Well, yesterday I laid down a lot. I just felt like it. And so I laid down on my bed early in the afternoon. I was listening to, Terrence McKenna and Alan Watts and whatnot, and just kind of chilling, laying, because it was just a stormy, it was just so heavy, hardcore lightning, just downpouring buckets all day. So it wasn't really fun to go out and walk or play golf. And so I just kind of surrendered. I shut the generator off and I just chilled. So the point I'm telling all this is that I laid down for a long time. I was laying down from about, maybe 3 in the afternoon until almost 5:30 or 6 this morning, which included me going to bed and sleeping and whatnot. But I woke up and my hips were just really sore this morning, just because I'd been in bed too long. It's just not the best choice. But I like to balance out my life. I like to get plenty of exercise, as you know. I like to get my walking. I like to golf, and I'll sit for a while, but I can only do these things for a certain amount of time. Then I got to switch it up. I got to switch shit up. So this morning, man, my hips were just sore, really sore. And man, I drank I pulled a whole glass. It was I think it's 12-ounce mason jar with a handle. And I just guzzled it. Within, first thing, I just drank that down. Everything, pain, everything, discomfort, everything, gone. 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Just gone.
Yeah.
And I'm I never had anything work this fast. Never, ever, ever. I just never had anything work this fast. As far as pain, I've had hits of DMT that fucking rocked my world in a blink. But, I'm talking about pain. Dealing with physical pain. Nothing ever worked this fast. It's mind-boggling to me. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I trust. I do trust it.
Yes.
Having our own perfect medicine at our disposal 24/7 in, as fresh or as aged as you want to consume it is pretty miraculous.
It's miraculous.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I see it.
Yeah.
Now, you've also been working on a video series that you've had somebody shooting, and that's still in process, right? You haven't completed all the shooting on that?
That's right. We're nearing the end of stuff and getting ready to launch. So basically, it'll be what I do in the mornings, teaching international students, but I'm putting it all online. And it's exciting because I'm, we're like we all are, we're rewriting the story. So I'm really sick of all the, old, outdated, inaccurate readings that we get. And so I'm writing some new ones. And one is on urine therapy. I'm super excited to get it out there.
Awesome. So,
Yeah.
so are you creating these for a, like a DVD or for YouTube channeling, or what's the outpost on your purpose?
So basically, they'll be available for international students to buy. It's like, let's say they're preparing for this test and they want a course that'll help them prepare. So they can go to a platform. It's called Thinkific is what we're going to go with. And basically, a lot of people can share their courses on that platform. We'll also have on my website like a video available there that they could buy. And yeah, I'll be on YouTube. And just doing free content, stuff like that.
Yeah. So what do you do in your spare time? Take baths?
Don't know.
I know you're a busy girl. I know this. I do know this about you. I mean, when I came out to visit you, I remember having to schedule around how all your classes and everything went. And
yeah, it's really exciting right now because I'm kind of transitioning out of teaching all the time to more creation and just just bringing my own creations into the world rather than being in the physical classroom all the time.
Right.
So I'm really looking forward to that full transition over to the creatrix mode.
Yeah. Now, when you you have later plans of eventually leaving LA, and do you plan on developing like classes, or what's kind of how do you view what your creative evolution to be?
Yeah. So the next step for me is once I publish my memoir, I really want to give, I want to publish that in a place where I feel really safe. Obviously, I've shared my story with, all of you guys, and it's, it's a vulnerable share. It's a vulnerable story. Not a lot of people know my whole story, and when they do, I've had people just walk out of my life, and be like, you're a crazy lady, and just turn the other direction. So, I really want to make sure I'm just in community that's supportive once I get my book out there.
Right. And
then after that, I'm going to be co-creating with another, I don't know, I'll just call her a goddess because I just think she is. But we're all gods and goddesses, right? Just,
yes, we are.
Our divine humanity, yeah. So I'm really looking forward to co-creating with her because she's already very much on this, let's create new Earth already, right? We're sick of the structures, and we're sick of trying to fit into a box. This box is a lie, and it's just time to create something new. So we're going to be writing. We're going to be doing, she has a Patreon account that's really active, so we'll be offering, more content there. She does monthly talks and things like that. And her husband is a shaman who does journey work for people. So, yeah, I'm just going to be hanging out with those guys for a while and co-creating with them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, in our conversation, when you were talking about being in a safe space, because you were telling me recently in our conversation about somebody that's been helping you out, and you let them read the memoir, and they kind of tripped on you about it.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, tell us about that cause and effect, because I found that interesting that somebody would react that way.
Sure. Yeah, so, this very, who I consider a very close friend, and I, a while back, and I respect her a lot. She's a great photographer, and she really inspired me to do the Teaching Online project. I really didn't have very much interest in it, and she's like, no, you really have a gift, and you need to share it, and I think this, should be online, and people should, have it available to, like, you should, do this. So She really, really encouraged me, and I thank her a lot for that. And if it weren't for her, you know, I really wouldn't be doing this project, and she's helped me a lot. But yeah, as I was discussing my kind of next plan for my life, she didn't realize, she had read my book years before, a couple years before, and she didn't say anything at the time. But when I told her, you know, I'm getting ready for publication, and I'm going to put this out there, and I need to, you know, move out of LA in order to kind of give birth to this and let it fly. And she was very, like, very, she just went to my jugular, basically. She just said, you know, when you publish this book, you're going to destroy your life. Your career is going to be over. And I said, what career?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You know? And she's like, you're going to destroy your life, and, you know, does your dad know about this? And I'm like, my dad just wants me to be happy. You know, you don't have to bring him into the video. He just wants me to be happy. And, yes, she was very, very strongly opposed to me having a voice, basically. And she was trying to argue with me on a kind of a mental level, like all the reasons why, you know, this possibly couldn't have happened to me, and science this and blah, 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 that. I mean, I was letting her. She was going on, and I was just kind of staring. I said, finally, when she stopped, I said, listen, you know, this is something that I experienced through my body, and there's no sort of, you know, big presentation, or you could bring in the best scientists from around the world and try to logically explain how what I experienced isn't true. But that will not change my experience. So you're not going to be able to argue with someone on a mental level about their experience. Their experience is their experience. You know, and I just, I stood up, and we were working, and I said, I have to leave right now. And I just packed up my laptop, and I got in my car, and once I was in my car, I just started, boom, like, you know, the waterfall started happening. I was crying. I got home, I was crying. I was very proud of myself, though, because usually I go very internal when I'm sad or depressed. I'll, like, take it all inside and just be by myself. But I called a friend, and, you know, I kind of, like, went through the tears with a friend, and it was a beautiful processing, because the next day when I woke up, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to destroy my life when I publish this book. Well, that must mean, you know, it's going to be a bestseller.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome. You know,
Yeah.
it's on fire.
Perfect.
So, you know, yeah, so it was like this beautiful transmutation, whereas, you know, maybe before you're in therapy, my transmutation time was very, very slow, you know, months and months of, like, maybe thinking about what this person said, or still hurting, or still in the story of whatever, or feeling shame or whatever. And there was just, like, none of that. I just had my, you know, cry, and then I was like, okay, like, get on with it. This is going to be great. So
Yeah.
that was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. That's so lovely. Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is that, you know, who's to say, you know, people that are critical of us in our pursuit, there's a lot of reasons why they might perhaps be critical. A lot of times it's because of their own fear factor, their own self-image is not strong enough. They could never imagine themselves ever revealing any real truth in a public forum of any kind. And so a lot of times it's projection that people are putting on us. It has nothing to do with us. It's just somebody's projection of their own limitation, their own fear factors that stimulate that mindset. And it's all bullshit anyway. I mean, if we aren't gonna be free about who we're being, then who are we gonna be? I don't know. That's the way I look at it. If not me, who? You know, if not now, when? You know what? You know what are you gonna do? You know, what's the worst that can happen? Oh God, I'm gonna be ashamed. Oh, will that lead to me feeling guilty? Oh no. Geez, and then I'll have all this problem, and then I'll have to get it all sorted out. Yeah, fuck all that noise. You know, I mean, really, you know, anybody who goes around living in that mindset of shame and guilt and jealousy and fear-based and humiliation and sarcasm and, you know, allowing all those kind of little games to be played in their mind, oh, God, help them. Help them.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was really, my anthem over this past weekend was, you know, I'm a musical girl at heart. You know, my whole life is a song and dance.
Yeah.
I could go through the grocery store, you know, I'd be tap dancing the entire time. Like, that's really what I'm doing.
That's so fun.
This past weekend, yeah, it was, I am what I am, right? Like, life's not worth a damn till you can shout out, I am what I am.
Yes.
And, you know, and it goes back to that, also, now that I say that, it sounds like, you know, I am that I am, you know, and that, when you really claim that, wow, what a powerful, powerful moment. It's just, it's really powerful, and it's really what this world needs right now, is more people just ready to say, I am what I am that I am, and just being it in the world, you know?
Yes.
It's really exciting. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Isn't it interesting that, you know, if you go back into even, I think, like as early as maybe the 30s or 40s, you know, with Popeye, I mean, what a Zen master. I am what I am, and that's all that I am. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. You know, and so that's Zen Buddhism right there. You know, and I mean, who knew? How powerful.
Who knew?
Yeah.
So powerful.
Yeah.
So powerful.
And the messenger, you know, we get a lot of messages, we get a lot of messengers, you know, it just depends on what we're paying attention to. It really does. You know, what we allow is our sphere of influence, our frame of reference. And, you know, if our whole frame of reference is just coming from goofy, silly, crazy, without any kind of substance, you know, well, you're going to get what you get, you know. I mean,
exactly.
You know, some people are much more literary, you know, than others. Some people, it's all about movies. Some it's all about TV. Some it's all about music, magazines. Who knows, you know, I mean, but, you know, depending on what people are actually using as their frame of reference to mark their territory, it makes a big difference of who they actually are, who they become.
Yes, it does. Yeah, and you can call on the miracle weaver too. You know, even if you are in a kind of circumstance, maybe where you're not surrounded by the best, nourishing crowd or whatever media. You know, you're calling in a miracle, and you know, please give me a sign, and you ask for it. I mean, I've had to, you know, verbally out loud, like, please, right, just send me a sign, tell me what should I do next, or whatever it may be, whatever your prayer or intention is, and then and you do get the signs, and the more you ask for them, well, the more they start showing up in all sorts of amazing places. I mean, I see signs in license plates, numbers. I see, you know, like a picture, a color, like, it'll come through, and however you're able to read it, it will come through in the exact right timing, in exactly precisely the right moment you need to see for that sign to be like, okay, I'm gonna make this change, or I'm gonna go this way, or whatever the case may be. So, yeah.
Well, one of the things my sweetie and I, you know, we were laughing about it recently, you know, and it's pretty constant, you know, it's just the numbers thing, how it just the numbers, you know, the 111, the 1111, the 444, the 222, you know, the 333, whatever it is. I mean, it's just like uncanny, you know, my birth date, you know, I mean, it's just like the number thing is like just it's just relentless. It's hilarious.
It really is relentless.
Yeah.
It's funny. After a while, it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, Angel.
And it is. It's all your synchronicity, and I trust that. You know, it's all. There's nothing that isn't on purpose when you're paying attention and recognize it. You know, somebody I've been listening to, I mean, I like to listen to a lot of people, but somebody that's really charming and cracks me up is Eckhart Tolle. And,
yes,
I mean,
I was on an Eckhart roll for a while. I mean, I just consumed
you know, he's
everything he had out there. I just loved the way he speaks and the way, he's a beautiful soul.
He's hilarious, you know.
Yeah.
You know, because he just is such a funny little guy, you know, but I mean, he has just such a clever sense of humor about the whole thing, and so much wisdom in there, you know.
Yes.
And again, it's always about that. Be here now, you know, be present, be accountable. I mean, it's like everything we are going through with this show, you know, all through the beginning. It's like, how many times I got to do this to get it right? Well, I don't know. As many times it takes to do it to get it right, we got it right. Here we are. Fuck it.
Here we are.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So does it matter? No, it doesn't. You know?
Yeah.
Take one, take two, take three. Who fucking cares? What difference does it make? You know?
Yep.
Oh, but I wasn't right on schedule. No shit. Who cares? Catch it in post.
Exactly. And your tenacity. Oh my gosh, when you're like, okay, I'm just gonna power up generator and this is gonna happen, you know, it's like that's the kind of tenacity, you know, that we need as individuals and just doing our thing, right? It's like no matter what happens, just keep on walking the path.
Yeah.
Keep on making it happen, and then the miracles do really unfold. It's amazing.
Well, and I've been willing. See, I mean, from the beginning, I was trying everything. You know, the radio program, trying to run YouTube Live with Facebook Live. You know, keeping the computer going, using the phone. You know, and I finally got it down to where I've been able to make it happen with just the phone, without the generator running, and make it work. You know, so that there's not all that white noise and all that. And then as soon as I'm done with the show, I go crank up the thing, because that's when I got to bring it online, you know, and start pumping it out into the stratosphere and downloading it into an MP4. Most people have no idea what I go through to produce this show. They have no idea.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, a 2-hour show, it takes me, by the time it's all said and done, and I've created all of the outposts and in the YouTube and the MP3s and reboot it and recreated it in an MP3 file, all that shit, I got 9 hours in on an average just to produce this show. Mm-hmm. But I'm willing. I mean, I'm okay with it. But when I don't have to run the generator, I'm down with that, you know, because there's a lot of white noise. You know, if I can pull it off without having to run the generator for a few, I'm down with it, you know. But if I have to strike up the band, I will. As we did, you know. Whatever it takes, man. I don't care. I'll make it work. I know. You know, I got this shit in front of me. I'll make it work one way or the other, you know. Yeah. And so I appreciate you hanging in there and keeping your sense of humor, too, because a lot of times, you know, a guest gets a little nervous, too, and it's like, oh, shit, you know, and they, oh, you know, no, man, it's about riding the fucking wave, you know, we're surfing here, and every wave isn't going to be the perfect one. You just got to wait, you know, and let it be. And so, you know, it is what it is. So I appreciate you as well, you know, just hanging. You know, I love you dearly.
Of course.
You know that.
Oh, I feel the same about you. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to be here. I know this is going to work out one way or the other. I'm just not going to give up.
Yeah.
I'm like running across the street. I'm like, it's all good. I'll just go back to the place we met.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how it works? Yeah, and we had some delightful walk and talks, and I was so grateful you did one of the Weedu Wanders with me. Everybody loved you so much. You know, you're so adorable. But you know, we had a beautiful, we had these long, beautiful walks all over Santa Monica, and you know, at sunset, and she took me to the hotel where she does these exercise classes, and passed me in, so I got to go and like hang in the hot tub and be a guest in the hot tub while she was teaching her classes, and I'd meet people and turn them on to urine therapy. It was cool. And then we go out.
Yeah.
Remember that? Remember those couple of sunsets? I mean, we got right down to the boardwalk. It's just powerful.
Yes.
I mean, we were
Yeah.
right there on the cliffs of Santa Monica, and just these like amazing sunsets, and it was so lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was just delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at some point you're going to be bailing out of that whole world, and we could be closer neighbors somehow
Yes.
out there.
Yeah, and then that's why I was like, okay, I just gotta fly out there now because we could just do the show in person.
Yeah, I know. Well, I am getting ready to do another road show. You know, that's in the works. There's several things in the works, and I'm just kind of waiting on, you know, my sweetie pie, and that's all, you know, happening. You know, we're just being we're being patient. When it's right, it's right. It could be sooner than I even realize. You know, we don't know. It's just a timing thing.
Right.
But
And just, I want to acknowledge and honor I think you're an amazing person because not many people can just put total trust in, well, I call it the weaver, call it faith, call it like that, just trusting, because really when you started the journey, there you were just, you know, making your videos from where you were at, and then it evolved. I mean, the evolution of this to like, I got to get on the road. I don't know exactly where I'm going, but I know this is what I have to do, and I know that I have to connect these people, that we have a community here, and we need to share knowledge and support each other, and how you just totally trusted, you know, that you were doing what you were supposed to be doing, that kind of I don't know, ordained or divine mission, I guess you would call it. And that's what I call it. And just to put total faith in that, and what a beautiful thing has unfolded, because now it's like I feel this community, this force of the community come together and around your show. So what a beautiful gift you've given just by being totally, as you said, present, and having faith, right, in this walk.
Yeah, thank you for that. It has been a, at times I feel like I'm a giant needle pulling a thread, weaving a tapestry, and allowing all of the beautiful colors and fabrics and energies and people to keep weaving together, and it just feels like that, and it's marvelous. I'm so humbled by how many beautiful people I've had the privilege of getting to know really well, and some I haven't met in person yet, but we will. But we're getting to know each other very well, and I've really been grateful for people's willingness to open up their hearts, open up their minds, be a part of that, whether we're just on phone or personal message or whatever it is. It's evolving. It just evolves, and it's amazing. And I love my guests. I mean, as a matter of fact, I got Monica Shute coming up next week. Monica is she's a monster on the Midway, man. Internationally recognized, personality that has contributed to so many people's lives. Man.
Yes.
Monica's the shit. She's totally the shit.
Yes. Totally.
And she's been posting a bunch of stuff lately. She's, she's been working on her book. She's working on raw vegan recipe things. She's posting up Instagrams of these different recipes that she's doing. I mean, she's a busy girl. She's always got something up her sleeve. And I just appreciate her so much and her time. I value our friendship. And then Teresa Allen. You're going to love Teresa Allen, everybody. I guarantee you, if you haven't discovered who Teresa is yet, you're going to be mind blown. This is a remarkable, beautiful human being who's going to join us in 2 weeks. And she's actually not far away. She's here in Missouri too, so that's really cool. And she's got a lot of stories. She's been doing her UT for 2 years, and I'm not going to tell her story. I'm going to let her tell her story, but her and I have formulated a partnership, actually. She's quite a painter, and so I'm excited about that. And then Cornelius is following up the week after that. So I've got a whole 4-week run with all these really remarkable, powerful women. And women make the world go around, man. Dig it, you know. I do.
Dig it.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm real jazzed. I'm real humbled. I'm really grateful that everybody wants to be a part, you know, and making all this work, because it's everybody. It's about everybody's willingness and participation that drives this machine, that makes it work. That's what it is. It's, you know, it's not, this isn't about me. You know, I'm willing to drive the bus, but, you know, who's getting on the bus, you know? That's the whole trick right there. Who's going to get on the bus? And it's the peace and love train. I mean, I made that clear from the beginning. It's the peace and love train. You want to get on board? Hoot hoot! Get on board. It's happening.
Yes.
It's happening all over the world. It's not localized. It's not regionalized. It's not isolated. It's happening. This shit's happening. So cool.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. Yeah. And I was kind of experiencing a period of frustration where I'm like, oh my gosh, all my soul tribe, I guess we could call it. You know, you call it the high vibe tribe, but you're people that really are in this place of the love and peace, and that you respect and admire and you want to be a part of. And there was a time where I was like, whoa, you know, I'm just not, I see them, I see they're out there, they're just not in my physical proximity. So it was like this weird thing where I would call the gap. You know, you kind of go into the matrix of your daily life and you kind of like keep your magic under wraps because that side can't handle it yet. And then you pop into this other world that's the peace and love train, you know, and they're all about it. But the peace and love train for me was, you know, online, a lot of it, and connecting to people that way. So it's a little frustrating, you know. I'm like, oh, I just want to be there with you. I just want to, you know, connect in that physical way. But yeah, it's just so magical, you know, when the technology does work and that we can connect in this way, and it's truly, really, really happening, and it's awesome.
Well, and that's why I strive to do what I do beyond just the virtual. And I've had the privilege and the pleasure of meeting a lot of people physically, and like I said, I'm getting ready to go on tour again, and that could be for weeks. I mean, there's no saying how long it'll be and what states we'll cover, but I'll be doing the shows. I'll be doing shout outs. You know, I already have a long list of peeps that I have already connected with, you know, you included. If we make it down to LA, guess guess who we're going to connect with, right? You know, so, you know, it's all good. You know, I know that, you know, that, but I'm always welcoming new people. I mean, on that first journey, that's how you came in. That's how James Patrick came in. That's how Nancy Fox came in. These were all people that just knew I was on the road, gave me shout outs. And said, hey, I'm here, man. Any chance we could connect? I said, absolutely, let's connect. You know, so it's how it works, real time. Yeah. And I am planning on doing a celebration retreat in July, middle of July, in Virginia.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's going to be limited.
Look like? Can you tell us a little bit?
Yeah, I can tell a little bit. It's still, I won't give all the details. I will tell you it's on my 65th birthday weekend. July 20th, 21st, and 22nd. It will be in Virginia, in the area called Floyd, which is a big-time art colony. They do bluegrass yoga festivals. Floyd's pretty high cotton. It's on 80 acres of private property of a dear friend, and it'll be all inclusive. Everything that we're going to do, it's going to be a full-on celebration. It's going to be fully inclusive of all accommodation, all food, all things, all activity, everything. It'll be an entire package, complete. And it will have the limitation to how many people because of the amount of space of accommodation. We're figuring all that out. I'll give people plenty of fair notice of when I'm when it's ready to put out the actual information. I'll put it all out and break it all down. But you know, that much I will tell you. And in the meantime, my book is happening. I've got it past the all my coordinator. It's now on Cover Designers. I'm waiting to hear from my cover designer, and it's in the final stages right now. So that's pretty exciting.
That's very exciting.
Yeah, and I thank everybody for their you know, donations and comments. You know, when the book's ready, everybody will get their copies that are waiting. You can count on it. I haven't forgotten. Yeah, and I'm just waiting for the love of my life. So, you know, everything I've been planning, working, preparing, processing, I'm a patient motherfucker. I am. I'm just way patient. You know, because it doesn't do any good to push it over the edge. You know, when you're close to the edge, you're either going to spread your wings and fly or fall off. Me, I'm just, I'm on the tarmac and spreading my wings. That's what I'm doing.
That's right. Yeah.
Taking my time, enjoying the ride. It all happens. Everything happens. And get all bunchy about it and forecast it too hardcore and get all goofy because it didn't work out as you planned. Well, guess what? Most life doesn't exactly. But if you hold the vision, if you can hold that space, trust and allow, not push it and shove it and try to manipulate it, it's amazing how your life unfolds and presents itself. And anybody who listens to Eckhart Tolle or any of the rest of these crazy cool cats knows, you know. If you listen to Muji, Alan Watts, Terrence McKenna, you know, Sana G, you know, I mean, there's all sorts of people out there who give all sorts of positive, loving, kind messages that give you an uplifting of understanding so that you can awaken to your own amazing state. And isn't that beautiful? You know?
Yes. And how that just, I mean, it just parallels with pee, right? If you're really, you know, drinking your pee every day, curious about it, looking at it, you know, in the beginning I was, you know, oh my gosh, you know, should I drink it at this time or not this time? Too much, not too much, or this, you know. And it's like when you really relax into it, it's like it's all good. Like no matter what, it really is all good. You know, and okay, maybe it's a little cloudy, or maybe it has, I don't know, whatever it has in it, and it looks like this, or it smells like that, or whatever it is. No matter what I do, it's like still all good. Nothing ever bad happens to me. So it's a beautiful, beautiful, you know, trust and divine timing, and it really is. If you maybe apply that principle that you just said to your pee and your pee to that principle, it's like they're paralleling each other, right? It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, it's like that song. Nothing bad ever happens to me. Why should I care? Nothing bad ever happens to me. You know, I mean, it's what you program. It's all about what you program.
It's all about the program. And I mean, I had a friend call me last night with some really, you know, heartbreaking news. And, you know, she, and that, this situation, you know, she realized that basically her worst nightmare. But at the same exact moment was this beautiful, she realized, and I realized it, and we both realized it was this blessing coming in. So no matter the darkness or the negative or whatever you perceive in that moment as, oh my gosh, the pain, it's nothing to diminish the pain at all, but to also see that it's an opportunity. You know, these painful moments are a great opportunity. It's almost like a crack, you know, they're cracking you open to that magic that's possible. But you know, only if you want it. You have to be wanting it.
Yeah. Well, you know, as I
Yeah.
tell people all the time, you know, put in your order, leave it alone, and be clear.
Yeah.
Don't forget the
Yeah.
hubcaps. You know, and I remember when I was first explaining this principle, you know, my sweetie goes, "What do you mean by that? Don't forget the hubcaps." I said, "Well, when you really picture, remember your details. Be clear and specific about your details. You know, it's important. You can't just broad stroke it, you know. Oh, you know, what do you want? Oh, I want a white house. Well, that can mean a lot of things." You know, you know, is there any other details you'd like to note? Or a white car, or, you know, whatever, you know, you might want to just think about it a little more and be a little more clarity in your, you know, design factor or whatever, you know, that's all it means. And so
Yes.
don't forget
Yes.
don't forget the hubcaps. You know, just make sure that
Yes.
whatever you're envisioning, it's in clarity. And be
Yes,
patient.
and for the highest good of self, the highest good of others. Yeah, I mean, that's basically my prayer when I do my key kind of ritual at the end of my bath. Is, you know, I think the moment I love about the body rub is if I, you know, just have like a jar of tea and I can just like pour it over my head. It's like an anointing. You know,
Yes,
it's a very
well stated.
spiritual moment.
Yeah.
Where I get to, you know, I just ask for blessing, and then I bless myself, and it's super potent and very beautiful, and yeah, it's grace. I mean, that's what it is. It's golden grace in it, and it's in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I get it all the time, you know, lately especially, because people come up with the conversation, and it's like, I have, yeah, a tiny house, exactly. I know exactly what it looks like, Glenn, with the tub. Mm-hmm. And so,
yeah.
Anyway, with the, I mean, I haven't had water on my skin now since January 3rd, okay, so, that's just the way it's worked out, but I don't ever feel stinky or dirty or this, that, and the other. I get tons of exercise. I live every day, and I just do body rub, and I don't do it every day. I mean, there's maybe when the summer comes. I mean, when I get my tub, I'm going to be doing a lot more, you know, in that element. But more importantly, you know, during the winter, during the cold, this, that, and the other, I you know, to just strip all down naked and whatnot in this, you know, it doesn't always work for me. So I always, it's like a process. It's not like, you know, when you go into the bathroom and you prepare for your bath and the shower and all of the little rituals and all that shit. I don't have that paradigm. That ain't in my little paradigm. I just roll. So,
Yeah.
you know, people go, well, what about the smell? What about the smell? I never smell. Nobody ever walks by me and goes, man, is that guy pissing himself or something? Never. And I got HP, man. It has strong, musky odor. It does. But once that shit gets rubbed into my body, it disappears. Just disappears. Does. Yeah, I never walk around smelling like pee. Never. So, you know, I just swear by it. I swear by it. It's the all around. Here's another story. God, you're going to love this one, okay? I have this silver ashtray. It's over here, okay? Now, it's a really cool little silver ashtray that I've been using for a long time. For years and years I had this ashtray. And I hadn't cleaned it for a really long time. I mean, at all. You know, just never. You know, I dump it all the time. So I put it in the sink because I knew I was going to quit cigarettes. I was quitting the smoking. So I dumped it for the last time. I put it in the sink. I figured I'd clean it up. Now, I did the piss and boot yesterday for hours. I had on my, It was a stormy, stormy, stormy day yesterday, man. It wouldn't stop. The thunder and lightning just literally wouldn't stop. It went all day, and downpours like crazy. So I was doing my little piss and boot thing for hours. And when I was finally done, I pulled off my rubber boots, and I took the socks, and I have these long, big, like woolen socks, and I just wrung them out in the sink. And so it was all going into the ashtray. I didn't even pay any attention. Wasn't even, thinking about it at the time. So, I left it there. I emptied out my boots. I was doing all this stuff. I went out, I was doing all this stuff. Anyway, hey, Don, good morning to you down in New Zealand. And anyway, the ashtray shit, I'm going to grab it and show it on camera because this is amazing. Look at this thing. This was just pee, HP, and actually the pee that came out of my boots that I was doing for my little foot massage for hours. You want to know how fucking powerful pee is, man? It's powerful. It's a cleansing agent. It's powerful. Yeah. It'll clean us inside and outside. We can do it orally or anally. We can put it in our eyes, our ears, our nose, our throat. We can drink it in smoothies if we want. We can clean metal. We can clean glass. I mean, it's just crazy. I do my laundry in the shit. How easy is this, folks?
It's so easy, and it's free.
And it's free. How many products can you cut out of your, the have-to list? I mean, really, how many products? Yeah, let's fill her up. Cornelius is hilarious. Cornelius has so much fun with all the little emoji things. Yeah, I love Cornelius. We had such a lovely talk. You're going to love this girl. She's awesome. She really is.
Yeah. I had visions of my next place that I live in of just, all of my cleaning agents are just, I still have the bottles maybe, but it's all full of urine. Every single one of the bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I get a lot of people that, it's like, oh, you got to do it in glass, and oh, you got to do it this way, and you got to do it that way. I mean, hey, in anybody's perfect world, great. Do whatever's in your perfect world. I don't know. Right. Me, I have to buy water by the gallon. I live on right now, I got like no money. I'm waiting for the beginning of the month, and it's all good. I just trip on what I have to deal with. It's no biggie to me. But I don't have the luxury to go out and buy all these fancy glass bottles, nor do I have the, the ways and means to handle all those glass bottles, Yeah. I bring in the water my distilled water in the bottles they come in from the store. Now they package all the distilled water. Everybody's drinking distilled water this way. What the fuck? I mean, what's the difference? I don't see any difference. You know? So Rebecca says she wants to smell me. She has some age, but she's chicken. Here, smell me. Scratch and sniff. So yeah. Anyway, the age thing. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I just keep saving it. Man, I do. It's in the jars.
Yeah, and I actually like the smell sometimes. Like, I usually leave my jar open, so I'll have it in my bedroom and in a certain area, and I'll leave the jars open. And I'll notice, like, the different smells as it kind of goes on. Like, after a couple weeks, it smells like this, and after a couple weeks, it smells like this. And I don't know. I'm just kind of, like, addicted to that perfume now.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. It has this kind of musky smell. Now, now I made myself some albacore, like a tuna salad sandwich a few days back, And man, that shit reeks. I mean, you know, when you shit it out, piss it out, it's amazing how strong that tuna fish. I mean, it's just like, what the hell, you know? And I'm actually thinking about going, you know, like I said, I've stopped the smoking. I'm going to cut out the coffee for now because they kind of go hand in hand. And if I drop them both, it's just effortless that way. It's easier, you know. And so, yeah, I'm looking at just getting back to, you know, the fruitarian thing, and, you know, probably even looking at going on another fast here before long. I just take it one day at a time. You know, the winter, it was just too cozy, too cold. You know, I like my rice and beans and stuff. I get, you know, into those mindsets, those modes. But, you know, spring's coming, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, our bodies and the seasons, they all have different rhythms. I mean, there's a reason why we have seasons. So it just feels natural if it's cold and it's rainy and it's snowy and whatever. Yeah, you're going to want warm comfort, you know, that's natural. I mean, that totally makes sense. And then when it's time for the spring cleaning, when it's time for the, you know, the buds to come out on the trees and the grass to start growing, it's like, okay, your body is going to change, and seasons change, and that's when you do the cleanse. You know, my body talks to me all the time. You know, it's just me usually not listening that is the problem. So yeah, just listening to your body and having that relationship, that's so key. And everybody's body's going to say a little something different to them. That's cool.
Yes. Well, and like right now, like, you know, Dawn's here and she's in New Zealand, okay? Things are different in New Zealand. You know, I got, you know, there's another person who just came on. I believe she's in Africa, and I have people that are in India, and you know they're in the middle of their monsoons, or it could be 120 degrees, or you're in fucking Santa Monica. You know, yeah. I mean, and so the variables are everywhere. But more importantly, I am a sunshine boy. You know that. You know, when I was out there, man, I like wearing my shorts and my little shirts and get as much sunshine and being out in it. You know, that's my MO. So to me, have to, you know, kind of shut down in a winter mode is always, you know, it's got its limits. And I didn't imagine when I started my journey, I was picturing being somewhere in tropical paradise, not in the middle of Missouri. I don't know how this happened. But it's what was supposed to happen. You know, everything happens in its own divine order, and I trust that. So I just roll with it.
Right.
But I do look forward to, you know, being back in some, you know, just running around. And out here, we're going to be able to run around naked. You know, I mean, there's nobody who's going to bother us. There's just, you know, it's privacy like crazy. How cool is that? You know, so.
That is really cool.
Yeah. And it'll be sunny and warm, and you know, people say Missouri gets real warm, and you know they call it misery in the summer. You know, but people like to bitch about whether or not whatever the weather is. I've learned to not let weather dictate or determine what my outlook's going to be.
Yes.
You know, I just adjust. Now, I wasn't going to go play golf yesterday. But guess what? The rain stopped this morning. It did. It stopped about 4 or 5 a.m. And as soon as it was daybreak at 7 a.m., I was off on a 4-mile walk. I came back, got my car keys, got in the van, and drove over to the golf course, played 18 holes, came back. You know, it's all weather windows to me. You know, it's just take advantage of the moment, ride with it. You know, it's not the most intelligent thing to do to be out when it's the middle of a thunder and lightning storm, particularly swinging metal clubs in particular. That could be an electrifying golf game. You look so shocked. What happened? Oh, I had a really electrifying round today. I got grounded.
Oh, goodness. By the way, how is that copper, speaking of grounding, how is that copper thing working?
that copper, the copper is the dope. It works. God, the containers that we have running in, like, you know, we have it coming in through the window, and then it coils around the pyramid that Diana gifted me, and then it goes into this little glass jar that has, and that thing is like black. That's how dark that one is. And so it combines in there, and then that feeds out another wire that goes behind the couch and then down and coils up and goes under the bed. And I have that dolly chained into about 4 different gallons, and those gallons are just rich, really dark.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you used any of that yet?
No. I'm just processing. It's all time. You know, all in good time. I have a long range plan, and in the meantime, I'm using what I use. You know, I drink, and you know, I got my spray bottles, and you know, I mean, when I get the tub and the tiny house, you know, I know I'm going to be having, you know, 35 gallons, 40 gallons right out of the gate are going to be going right into the tub. Just like that. So, you know, it may sound like I've got a huge warehouse growing, but by the time I get to that element, they're going to empty fast, you know, when I start filling a bathtub. Yeah.
Right.
So, I'm preparing for that. Yeah. Yeah, big time.
Wow. That'll be so fun.
Oh, it'll be awesome.
So fun. Yeah.
You know, and even if I go on, you know, I'm going to do I'm going to do bubble wrap, you know, do a cutout with bubble wrap so that it has like a solar insulator. So during the summer it'll heat up and have all that, you know, nice temperature to it. And yeah, it'll be really cool like that. And if I go on a road trip, I'll just put a board or something over it so that it stays, you know, sealed and protected and not, you know, have anything goofy happen to it or anything. But yeah, I got a plan, you know, and come, you know, next winter, you know, certainly it'll, unless I up my game, if I build a foundation on the tiny house, which I'm considering, I can get power. See, the trailer I live in right now, they won't supply power to a trailer unless it's a mobile home. They'll do that for a mobile home, but this is like a travel trailer that's just parked. It ain't going anywhere. But the county, it's like $15,000 or something for them to run a line in, you know, for this setup. But if you have a structure that has a foundation, there's no charge, because then they bring in the pole, they bring in the line, and then they're going to be selling you energy. So they're okay with that. So it's all just a logistics kind of thing. So I just see, you know, I just manage it as the time goes on. That's all.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow. Well, I love that plan. That bath is going to be so rocking.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. You know, Rosalind's had hers now for, you know, it's been almost 4 months or something. I mean, she even left on her vacation with her family and came back, you know, and left it in the tub. And she's, it's just awesome. She just, she does, you know, every day. Sometimes 2 or 3, she just goes and soaks in her aged urine bath. What a deal. What a get. You know, how cool, all right? I said, girlfriend, I just dream of this shit, man. But I'm working towards it. Yeah. It's happening. Yeah, it's way happening.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited. Things are coming around in a big way. And, I'm really excited for you too. I know that, you know, you've worked hard, you know, to process a lot of things, and you know, you've stepped up your game real big, and I'm always impressed by you, Kirstyn. You know that. You know how much I adore you.
Oh, Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Well, you know, I had some journeys to the underworld, and now I'm just ready to rise. You know, I've been waiting for a long time, and now the wait is over. I mean, it's all happening right now, and I'm just so excited. Yeah.
Yeah, as you should be. Yeah. No, it's a long time coming, and it's coming around the bend.
Yeah.
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 And you know, before you know it, we're all going to be, you know, with books out, and you know, DVDs, and
I know.
it's great.
It is really great.
Yeah.
It's really, really great. Yeah. Yeah.
And my feeling is, you know, it's like with the Facebook, you know, with the YouTube and all that shit. I mean, I use them all because they're here to use. You know, what happens if they all go away? Well, I don't know, nothing. You know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be drinking my pee. I'm just, you know, I'm not going to lose my mind. You know, I'm not going to freak out. I'm a survivalist. I know how to roll.
Yeah.
I just make it work no matter what. But in the meantime, if I can encourage and educate and elevate and motivate others into understanding their own potential and the power that lives within them, and they just start getting hip to the program that they got it all, that everything, that you can survive in the new frontier with just air, sunshine, and pee. Huh? You know? Mm-hmm. How fast is that? Now that's living in the fast lane. Slow it down, puppy. You're in the fast lane now. What do you mean? Oh, I quit eating. You don't eat? No, I don't eat. How do you do that? Oh, I just stopped putting shit in my mouth and shit started coming out of my ass. It worked. I quit eating, quit shitting. It just happened. It worked. Now, can we do it? Yeah, anybody can do it. Physically, yeah. It's just a mind game. And until people get their mind wrapped around it, and why do I eat? I like to eat. I make no bones about it. Do I have to eat? No, I don't have to eat. You know, I don't have to.
Yeah.
But, you know, I like food. I ain't making any bones about it. And as long as I got food, I'm going to eat it. As long as I got internet, I'm going to use it. As long as I got a phone, I'm going to use it. Facebook, I'm going to use it. If all the shit goes away, hey, guess what? I'm still going to be kicking it. Big time. And there's going to be a lot of people out there walking around and bumping into each other going, now what are we going to do? What are we going to do? How are we going to do this? What are we going to do? Fuck, get your head out of your ass and start paying attention now. Figure it out.
Yes. Yes.
You know? Because that shit happens everywhere, okay? It's not an isolated incident. It happens more often than we care to note anymore. Where people are just left, you know, empty. I mean, empty. No food, no stores, no internet, no phones, no this, no that. Total disaster. They don't even have a shelter. You know, they don't have clothes on their back. Now what are you going to do? You know, this could happen to anybody, anytime, anywhere. Big time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when we were having the fires back in December, and, you know, Southern California has its fires, but these came really close to where I happen to be, and, you know, when they start to come closer home, you're like, okay, you go into that mode of, you know, if my house burns down, what happens then? What do I do? You know, if the fire starts coming, what's my plan? And the key is so, it brought me such peace. I was so not, you know, of course you're a little bit worried or anxious or whatever, but at the bottom line, at the end of the day, it's exactly what you were saying, where I was like, I know how to survive this. I know I can just drink my pee. I know that I'll be okay. Like, I just completely, just in my heart knew that if it ever came down to that I would be okay. So yeah, pee is not only empowering, it's the most amazing peace maker that I know of.
Yes. Yeah.
It's so
effortless.
It's such peace, effortless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you know, one of the curious things in regard to those fires is that you remember that first time when I pulled in and visited with you, and then you were busy and had classes, so I went up to Ojai to hang out until you had more time. And I spent the night on the PH highway, you know, PCH highway, okay? And I was up there, and it was right in that zone, because I remember seeing some live images of those fires coming right down off the hill to the beach there around Malibu and all that, just south of Malibu. It's right where I was camping. I was camping in my van right there on that highway right there. I recognized it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the people of Ojai, I mean, that's a very sacred place. And you told me the magic of that place. I unfortunately didn't get to go with you, but you know, they were surrounded.
Yeah.
They were just surrounded on all sides.
Exactly.
By these flames and fires, and you're like, oh my gosh, is this place really going to survive?
Well, and this is the funny thing, how I landed in Missouri, you know, and knowing it was like I would have ended up in hanging for the summer or the winter. I probably would have been more in the Southern California region, you know. If I was going to be in a sunnier, warmer climate for the winter, I would have ended up there, right? But you know, it's just funny how it all works in divine order, by osmosis, and then, you know, I was here and I'm watching all that shit go down, and I'm like, wow, you know, wow.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and it's very, you know, I remember the ash, and there was just, it was like raining ash. Where
snowing.
It was just coming down. You could see the covering, the coating on the cars and stuff of this ash. And I just went in my room. I was just drinking my pee and thinking, thank God that I am drinking pee right now to cleanse all of this, because you could feel the heaviness and the toxicity, and not only just like the pollution, you know, that we're inundated with, but the smoke from the fires, and also just it was a very negative fear vibe going on. So I was able to really stay centered through all that. Just, you know, again, drinking pee.
Well, you know, Cornelius, Cornelius puts in some great little comments here. Electrifying medicinal peas. Peace. And then Dawn just wrote, what is it about this pee drinking that makes me feel so happy and peaceful, patient, and just more loving and appreciative? And it is. It's all that.
It is.
And I adore Dawn. Dawn is she's a gift. You know, her and her tribe down in New Zealand are really remarkable people. What a beautiful soul this person is. And her whole tribe is just like fucking off the hook, you know. We're connected. We really are. We're connected with so many amazing people that we have no clue. And that's why I celebrate using all these formats while I can, why I do, because I wouldn't know these people otherwise.
Yes.
So, you know, now we can connect on a soul level. And we can make those connections, and we can figure out where we are so that we can, you know, make in the event of all the rest of this shit failing, at least we know who, what, where, and why, you know, we could seek somebody out, you know, and find our tribe. You know, and that's amazing.
Yes.
That shit's amazing to me.
It really is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Heaven on earth.
Yes, indeed. You know. Yeah, man. Yeah. It's all a beautiful thing. And so, yeah, I really appreciate your time today, Kirstyn, taking time out of your schedule and skipping school. You know, playing hooky to come play with me. Hey, little girl, come here. You want to skip school? Come over here. It's just charming. You're so charming. And
it was super fun, and you know, I adore you, love your show, and I so look forward to the next upcoming guests. They're going to be so great.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's amazing how everybody's lining up, and it's all just by osmosis. It really is. It's marvelous to me how it works.
Yeah.
I've been very grateful. I think this is episode 20 or something, you know.
Yeah.
We've done 20 weeks of this, and it's like, wow, you know, how time flies, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
you were out here, you were dreaming of this. You were like
Yeah.
making this happen in your creative imagination, and here we are. There
Yeah.
it is.
Well, I wasn't, you know, I was entertaining the idea, you know, because I knew what going live looked like. I mean, even when we were doing our Weedu Wanders, I was wearing my High Vibe Tribe, so you knew that was in the mindset too. These were all things that were in the mindset. They were already in my mindset. And it was just a matter of when I was going to initiate. And we just, the ORIN Oracles went live on December 12th at 12 noon, at 12. You know, it just it resonated. And then the High Vibe Tribe went online on, well, basically the 31st, but actualized on the 1st of January. You know, I just figured it was the perfect way to start the new year. You know, and then the cartoons. I'm having fun with the cartoons. You know, the Saturday morning cartoon show to me is just like, it's so free, you know, because it's just me and my bullshit, whatever I want to, you know, trip on, you know, so it's just fun, you know, it's way fun like that, yeah. And even again, when, like, I haven't done a ORIN Oracle show for the last 2 weeks. Now, I've been changing the format for that program because I really want it to have a lot more just humor and fun. Like the last ones I did were, you know, the peeing off, playing the Zen of Golf, the Mennonites, What I Do, another wash day miracle. You know, I mean, I want to have fun with these, and I've been under a lot of production and a lot of pressure, and so I just haven't had the time or the inspiration, quite frankly. But I haven't let them go, and when I hit the road, I'm going to reintroduce Weedu Wanders. You know, so not only will we be doing the ORIN Oracle live broadcasts on the road, we're also going to go back to the Weedu Wander format and just have little roadside chats with people.
I love it.
Yeah. So that's why I created.
I love when you climb to the top of the mountain, you get that scope, you know, of the whole where you're at the summit.
Yeah. Lassen Peak.
Yeah.
That was crazy cool.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
Yeah. So you know that's. I mean, the Weedu Speaks was the original series. And that is complete. I mean, I did a finale on that. You know, there's no need to bring Weedu Speaks back in. That was a self-contained unit, 159 shows. Wow. You know.
Wow.
But the Weedu Wanders, it can be picked up at any point. You know, the ORIN Oracle can be recreated at any point. And the live show, I'm really liking the live show. So. Still, again, it's just a lot of production, and it's just about finding the time to keep them all going, you know, one way or the other. Right. It's a lot of production.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, even that 15 minutes, like when I do the ORIN Oracle with the music and the memes and, you know, all the clips and the, you know, front, back, middle, and back and all that, that 15-minute show usually is about 6 or 7 hours of total production time for me by the time it's all said and done. Just that 15-minute show.
Yeah.
It's just the way it works. And I'm okay with that. You know, it's just what's so, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, we're all doing what we got to do, right? You know.
We do what we got to do, yeah.
Yeah.
I was introduced to the video thing, you know, in this last year, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't realize until you're actually doing it yourself, whoa, what the work is involved. And it's tremendous. It really is.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Most people, you know, and it's no biggie, but people who don't do production, people who don't understand production or publishing, you know, these things just they require a lot. I mean, it's a lot involved. It's just what it is, and you know, if you're old school at it and it's like a job, you know, good for you, you know, but otherwise, man, there's a lot of work involved, and it's always a learning curve. It's just a lot to learn. So I'm down with it. I dig it. I like I like what happens. It's fun for me.
Yeah.
So
the rewards are great.
Yes. And Dawn is asking, and your book you started when your sin was little, and I'm not sure what that means. Might have been a typo on that. I'm not sure what she meant by that. Because, you know, I do have my next book already planned, you know, and that's where Teresa comes in. She's an amazing illustrator. Wait till you see this woman's artwork, man. It's going to twist people's melons. Her artwork is so awesome. Yeah, when my son was little. That's correct, Dawn. Yes. My son illustrated that first one when he was 8 years old, and he's 30 years old now. So, yeah, the book goes way back. Yeah, she corrected that. Thanks. So, yeah, yeah, the Nicholas Nosey stories are really, that's something that I have been really, I've never let go of Nicholas Nosey. He's my alter ego, you know, and these are delightful tales. They are. I honor myself in noting that. These are really special stories. So it'll be a great book, and it's the kind of stuff that needs an illustrator, you know, the right person to make it a real beautiful cooperation. And and she loves Nicholas Nosey, she does, and I love her, and she loves me, and so it's perfect harmony. You know, we've met. Yeah, we found a perfect match. You know, we're in a perfect cooperative matchup, and I'm so thankful. It's taken a long time to get to this realization of actualization. And it is actually happening. It's coming around.
Yes.
So awesome.
It is.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right, dear. Well, we did manage to pull a 2-hour show out of it with 5 restarts, but, you know, made it work, you know. I'm happy.
Yay.
Yeah, yay. You're so adorable. I love your laugh.
You're adorable, too.
That's one of the things, my sweetie and Teresa and Monica and even you all have similar giggles, and I love to hear girls giggle. I do. I love to hear the girls giggle. It's so enchanting, you know. It feels good, you know. Yeah. Having that laugh. So yeah, next week, everybody, hang on to your seatbelts. Monica Schute's going to finally come back and make herself available, and I'm excited about that. Yeah, she's excited too. She's a dear heart, dear friend. And then Teresa Allen's coming after that, and then Cornelius Rex. So we've got a beautiful lineup coming over the weeks to come. I do want to remind everybody that, you know, the symposium's in September in Las Vegas. If you have any interest in that, you should look into it. Water of Life Symposium. It's only $35 registration. Just go to waterlifesymposium.com and all the information is there. And have yourself a beautiful, wonderful, marvelous day. And give yourself big loves and hugs. Always do that. Remember to love yourself. You love yourself, you can love everybody else too. And they'll love you. They will. It's true. Always keep your peace together. And thanks again, Kirstyn, for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you dearly.
Love you too.
And boom, you just been loved. Bye now. See you on the flip side. Ciao.
Bye.